Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at a new pair of XR glasses called the Rayneo Air 2S. This is my first time taking a look at a product from Rayneo, so I'm excited to see what it has to offer and how it differs from the competition. In today's video, we're going to do a quick unboxing and overview of the glasses. We'll go over the specs, test out device compatibility, showcase the display, and later on I'll share my thoughts on what worked well and what can be improved. A special thank you to Rayneo for sending the glasses for me to review for you guys. Now that we know where we're going, let's dive into it. We'll start things off by taking a look at what you get in the box. The first thing that you see when opening the box is the hardshell case, which feels pretty nice. It should be able to protect the glasses very well. When you open up the case, the first thing you're going to see is the glasses. We'll put those aside and take a look at those later. There's a pouch at the top that has a cleaning cloth, and it can also be used to store the USB-C cord. Aside from that, returning to the box, we have another little box containing the instruction manual, a template for prescription lens inserts. We also have an alternative size nose pad, so you could pick whichever one feels best. And of course, we have our DisplayPort compatible USB-C cord to connect from the glasses to your device. And that's all that we've got in the box, so let's take a closer look at the glasses. At first pickup, the glasses feel very light. They have the shape of a Ray-Ban pair of glasses, but they're much different than the competitors. They don't look like they have frames with lenses inserted. The whole front looks like a giant lens, and it's very reflective. I do kind of like that this makes it stand out a bit from the competition because the others all look very much the same. One thing that I noticed right away is how flexible the handles are. You can extend them outward quite far, and another cool feature is that you can actually adjust the tilt, so you can adjust it vertically. I almost didn't find this feature. I actually noticed it closer to the end of my testing that you can actually adjust this. I think this is really good because glasses like this tend to need micro adjustments. Being able to adjust it up and down is definitely a bonus. Looking closer at the handles, there's actually 4 speakers in total. That's the first time I've seen that. Most of the time you just get 2 speakers. And apparently they include a feature called Whisper Mode, which is some noise canceling. So I'm going to take a look at that and let you guys know what I think about it. And coming back to the handles, there's a few buttons that you can adjust some settings on. You can adjust the brightness, your audio level, as well. There's a menu button, which you can adjust a few things like turning on Whisper Mode, changing the refresh rate, as well as adjusting the screen color. You can change it between standard, vibrant, or soft. Taking a look at the lenses of the glasses, it's a very dark tint, so when you're using it inside, it's going to be a very dark display, so you're not going to have really too much background bleed. And it looks like it's going to hold up pretty well when you're outdoors because of how dark the tint is. Supposedly the display is 600 nits, so that should hold up pretty well if you're viewing outside. I can imagine you're probably still going to see through it, but it's not going to be super obvious. There's also removable nose pads. I kind of alluded to it before in the unboxing that you can swap it out. The other thing that you can also do is you can adjust these where you bend them outward. So with having a couple options for the nose pads combined with the very flexible handles, I can see that this glass set is going to be very comfortable to use, and we're probably going to be able to get a very clear picture. Having the glasses feel comfortable is very important, especially if you're going to be on long flight, which is typically where I've used these if either I'm on a road trip, on a flight, bus. I tend to wear these for a few hours, so it's really nice to be comfortable. Overall though, the glasses look very promising, so let's take a closer look at some tests. Aside from comfort, the next biggest thing is actually the screen quality. Really, that's what this whole glass set is about, is what you're going to be seeing on the monitor. Does it look colorful? Does it look clear? Are the edges blurry? That's something that we're going to take a look at and test. So I took a couple of recordings with my phone. That's the only camera I could get close enough to actually capture this. So it's not the best, but it's as close as I can get for you guys. I first wanted to go outside while the sun was still out and it was fairly bright, actually look at the sun and see how it turns out. And obviously I wasn't looking at the sun with my eyes, just with the camera, but when I was looking around when I had the glasses on, this is a fairly accurate representation. You can still see the screen with the brightness turned up to max, but it is something that you can still see through because of how bright it is. I also tested a little bit closer to sunset when the sun was starting to go behind the building, and then it was a little bit easier to see. So it is usable, I think, in a train or on a bus or something, you're not going to have direct sunlight. It's going to be a little bit darker, so I think you'll be perfectly fine using it in those environments. And now for indoor use, this is taken in my studio or entertainment room. They're kind of a combination. My wife was kind enough to play the game for me so I could capture this. It's fairly crisp and vibrant. Like, I have no issues seeing what's on the screen. The tint is dark enough that I don't really get too distracted. Like, I'm even at some points looking at my logo that's a bright neon light. And you can see it through it, but you can also just focus on the screen and you probably wouldn't even notice it. One thing that is hard to showcase on these recordings is that there isn't really any blur on the edges. That's something that I had found on the Legion glasses when I had tested those out. And is a typical struggle for these kinds of glasses, so I'm glad to see that they have it fairly clear. The field of view isn't quite as large as one of the other competitors, but having a very clear screen and very adjustable handles and nose pads makes it so that you really don't have to put up with any kind of blur. There's also no myopia adjustments, but for my eyes in particular, I didn't need it. So for others, it may be an issue, but for myself, I didn't have that concern. RayNeo talks about the screen being a 201 inch at 6 meters, so I'm not going to test exactly at 6 meters, but I'm going to do the same test I've done in previous videos, where I sit close to my monitor, I look directly at it, and then basically showcase what the size looks like for me. For figuring out the distance to sit away, I basically took a previous review I did and test, and I took those pair of glasses and tested out again to make sure I was sitting at the same distance, that it looked like the same test I had done before. And of course, I'm swapping to the RayNeo Air 2S for this demo so you can see roughly what it looks like. I found the screen size to be very similar to the Viture 1. So overall, I would say this screen is very decent, it's very clear, and I don't think you're going to have too many issues with it if your eyes are similar to mine. I can't speak for everyone, but in my experience, it was really good. For testing out the speakers, I'm going to take my tiny portable mic, connect it to my camera, and just put it right near the handles of the glass so you can kind of get a rough idea what it sounds like. It's hard to capture this accurately, but this is about the best I can do. Overall though, I would say the speakers are really good. They're just as good as the competitors that I've tested, and in some cases they're better. I think the audio from the speakers is good enough to use that you don't necessarily have to wear headphones. Now we're going to shift things back and take a look at the glasses again, this time at the specs. For the display, we have two Sony 1080p micro OLED displays. The field of view is 46 degrees, and it's described as a 201 inch display at 6 meters away. The brightness is 600 nits with 10 levels of brightness you can pick from. The refresh rate can toggle between 60 or 120 Hertz. We have 4 speakers that include some noise cancellation called Whisper Mode. The glasses have a USB-C port that's capable of display out to connect to your devices. And lastly, the device only weighs 78 grams. So now we've covered the specs, we've looked at the screen, we've taken a look at the sound as well, did an overview of the device, and talked about what you get in the box. Now we're going to move on to compatibility. So I did a number of tests. I tested on a few Apple devices, including an iPhone 15, a USB-C iPad, as well as an M1 MacBook. I also tested on my Red Magic 9 Pro Android phone, worked perfectly well, as well as another Android device, which is the AYN Odin 2. For handheld PCs, I tried the Steam Deck, as well as a number of other Windows handhelds, covering all of the major companies, including the ROG Ally, the Legion Go, the MSI Claw, AOK Zoe, 1X Player, GPD, AYANEO, and AYN. And I found that it worked on all of these, so as long as the device supports display out through USB-C, it's going to work with these glasses. If you, however, want to expand the compatibility, there are a couple of accessories that you could pick up. I don't have them to show you guys, but I could just direct you to the website and maybe just show you a couple pictures so you know what to look for. They sell an adapter so you can connect Lightning devices like an iPhone 14, iPhone 13, any that hasn't switched over to USB-C, possibly some of the iPads as well. There's also a USB-C to HDMI adapter, so this is so you can connect a PlayStation 5, for example, or an Xbox Series console, or basically anything that uses HDMI. And if you'd like to use it with your Nintendo Switch, they have an accessory called the Joy Dock, so you can connect it to your Nintendo Switch with a little dock that attaches to the back of the device. And lastly, if you want a standalone device that you could just plug into and just carry along with the glasses, so that's all you need, you can get the Pocket TV they have. This way you can stream Netflix or watch Crunchyroll, whatever other apps that they have. I'm not 100% sure on the full compatibility of apps, but I believe it runs Android. So feel free to check that one out as well. I'll leave a link in the description to their website. Check out some of these accessories if you're interested in seeing some more options to expand your compatibility. So now we're going to move on to sharing my thoughts. As per usual, I'm going to go over what I like about the device and some things that could be improved. So what I like about the device, it has a very bright display. I never had any issues with it not being colorful enough or being too dim where I couldn't see the image. The speakers have very good audio, and the nice part is you don't have to worry about disrupting too many other people because it's very quiet to them but very loud for you. I found the field of view to be acceptable. It's not the largest I've seen, but it's definitely not small. It seems to be very good. It seems to be a well-balanced display. I really like that it has very flexible handles that can adjust vertically as well as they can bend outwards quite far. Having that additional flexibility is very key on these glasses because getting it to sit just right makes such a difference on the clarity. And related to that, I found that the glasses are really just comfortable to use. They're a fairly comfortable set of glasses. I didn't find that anything was like poking at me weird or not sitting right. I also like that the USB-C cord is replaceable. There are some devices that don't have it where you can plug it in. It's just wired directly to the glasses, and I really don't like that because if it gets damaged, let's say your dog bites it or whatever, then you're basically looking at buying a new pair of glasses. So in this case, you can actually replace it. And overall, I think the glasses look nice. They're different than the rest, and I do like that they are unique. And moving on to some of the things that I think could improve, a larger field of view would be nice. Not mandatory, but it would be nice. I didn't have an issue, but for others, having some myopia adjustments would be good. And I think that having electrochromic film would be a benefit to this pair of glasses. It's nice being able to switch between a little bit more transparent and very dark. Overall, though, I think the glasses are great. If you're looking at a pair of glasses that you're going to be picking up in the next little bit, I think this is a fair contender amongst its competitors, so definitely check it out. There's a few other reviews that also compare it with other glasses, so check those out if you want to see a head-to-head with some other devices. We didn't go into that today. It's a little bit outside of my scope for today, but I saw a number of other people that had done that. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. It was a lot of fun to test the Air 2S, and a special thank you once again to RayNeo for this opportunity to review this for you guys. And I had a question for you guys. Do you guys like XR glass content? Do you want to see more AR glass related stuff or maybe even some VR content? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on that, and I'll take that into consideration. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.